Another Dooley Noted Podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill in Celebration Point. Okay, welcome into another Dooley Noted Podcast, presented, of course, as always, by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. Thanks so much to Meldon Law. Thanks so much to Titan MRI. Thanks to all of our sponsors for all the great stuff they do and keep this podcast going strong. Coach Spurrier will join us in just a little bit, and we'll talk to him about many things, including his Dukie's not getting it done, but his Gamecocks getting it done. He had a chance for a rare double. 2 former employees winning national championships. That would have been good. So we'll talk to him about that. By the way, Friday, Laura Rutledge. I know everybody's excited about that. We always love Laura when she's able to come on. And I kind of wanted to wait till after she's been through everything, you know, college football, NFL, and just when she's got a little more time to do it. And so we'll have her on Friday. So that'll be a lot of fun. Okay, so we had a lot going on this weekend. Some good, some not so good. The good, to me, the number one good would be gymnastics and what they were able to do. It's amazing. I keep thinking, guys, maybe you're peaking too early, and then they go, no, we're going to do something better. We're going to give you something even better score. And so Florida at Auburn at the NCAA Regionals puts together the third best score in the history of gymnastics. And I will say this, that Auburn crew, now again, I don't know enough about gymnastics. I know a lot about gymnastics. I know more than you, okay? But I don't know enough to know whether the people that scored the Florida Auburn gymnastics dual meet are the same people that scored this regional. I don't know that. They probably weren't. The NCAA probably assigned them. But for some reason, at Auburn, the numbers seem to go up. And good for them. I mean, it's fine. I mean, luckily Florida's the best, so their numbers are going to be higher than everybody else. But what they were able to do, and especially Trinity Thomas, think about this. So here you are in the regional finals. And again, last year, you couldn't do everything you wanted to do because you had 2 sprained ankles. And you're in the regional finals now this year. You're totally healthy. You got a team that you love, a lot of talent around you. And you go out there and your first two what's the word for it? Apparati, devices, events, whatever you want to call it, okay, are the floor and the vault. You get a 10 on both of them. You say, hey, I'm here. You might as well all go home. That's basically what she said. And so I give them credit. And, of course, Leanne Wong got a 10, too. I think the numbers tend to be high. Maybe it's the water out there. I don't know. But great job by Florida to now, look, all that's wiped out, and the teams that go to the final, and then you try to qualify for this. So I think there's 12 teams that go to the final in Fort Worth. And then after the first day, the Super 6 advance. I've been there for it, and I will say this. If you're thinking about making any kind of a like a road trip and you're really into gymnastics and you're really into this team, which I am, and I think a lot of people are, and we've even talked about it. I don't think we'll do it, but we've talked about it. Fort Worth is really lovely. I'm telling you. It is the cleanest town, big town, and it's not even a huge town, but it's a town. What is it? What is Fort Worth? It's a city. It's not really a town. It's kind of a city. But it's that whole Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington, metroplex. What's the population there? Fort Worth. Shy of a million. I'm telling you, you go to downtown Fort Worth and you feel like you're in a city that has 10,000 people. It's really clean. And great bars, great restaurants, unbelievable barbecue. You can go see Colonial, the great golf course there. I'm highly recommending it if you want to do that. So congratulations to Jenny, Roland, and to those gymnasts who have been unbelievable this year, all year, and just continue to surprise me. To be honest with you, I'm like, all right, just qualify. I don't care if you even get in, with a low score. Just get in. Well, now, we're going to have the third best score in the history of any program, anybody. So this could be really special, and it's going to be exciting. I think it's the 14th through the 17th, something like that, for the NCAAs. Okay, so that was the good. The ugly would have been baseball, which lost all 3 games to Georgia. We talked about the Thursday night game, which was devastating, but it's not like they didn't come back from that. I mean, they had a 6-2 lead on Saturday with a chance to at least get one on the road, and that's fine. You go 1-2 on the road, it's not the worst thing in the world. Even though you got a team in Tennessee that is just blowing everybody away, cannot lose, swept Vanderbilt at Vanderbilt, so now they're 9-0 in the SEC. But the point was, forget about them, think about you. But there doesn't seem to be an answer for Florida, pitching-wise. There just doesn't seem to be an answer. And I'm sure that there is an answer. Nobody's figured it out yet. Too many losses like that. I mean, it's not like they're a bad team. They almost remind me a little bit of the men's basketball team this year. Because that men's basketball team, you would kind of get high on them, and then they would crash you down. Fabian hits a 2-run homer Thursday. You're up here. They're up 6-2. Okay, you're going to get one game out of this. 8 runs in the whatever inning it was. That's the way men's basketball was. They would get you up, and they would just pound you down. So it didn't work out well for them. That will happen. And then we also had, of course, softball, which I was paying a lot of attention to, and got the 2 wins at the end of the series. And certainly Hightower, give her a lot of credit for what she did. They've got a huge week coming up. And again, I say that because part of being a sports writer, which I'm not technically anymore, but I kind of am. Part of being a sports writer is to talk about what could happen, what is going to happen. Talk about, pump up an event. And then you report on it afterwards no matter what happens. You don't change your perspective on it just because something happened differently than what you thought. I've talked about this many times. The 96 Florida-Tennessee game up in Knoxville was the most hyped game I've ever covered. More hyped than Florida FSU and New Orleans. More hyped than any game. That game was the most hyped game I've ever been around. You never know how it's going to do. The next thing you know, it's 35-0 Florida. Guess what? Did not exactly age well. This week for Florida in softball is kind of like that, but it's certainly not at that level. FSU Wednesday. FSU is having an unbelievable year. And don't forget, Florida has beaten Florida State in every sport so far this academic year. Football, I seem to remember a guy whiffing on a kick, which was still in fact, we need to have that on a loop that we can put it up there at any time. The guy whiffing on the onside kick was one of the highlights of my well, let me put it to you this way. It was the highlight of my football season because there weren't many other highlights, if there were any. Obviously, in basketball, it was a huge emotional win for the former coach, Mike White, which I can't believe I'm even saying that, and the former Keontae Johnson player that I don't even know. There's a lot of stuff going on out there about Keontae. And I'm not going to get into any of that stuff, okay? But, so they play FSU on Wednesday, and then they play, I think it's Saturday to Monday. Yeah. So they get Thursday and Friday off, then they play Saturday to Monday against Alabama. And Alabama's really good, as they always are. What a week that's going to be for Florida softball. It's going to be amazing. Kind of a fun time to be around that. If you're into softball, if you're not into softball, you should be. It's fun. So I will say this. If you want to just be a fan of something that's easy to watch that. Because that happens quickly. and it's over. You don't sit around for 4 hours watching a baseball game and 8 pitchers coming in and 19 reviews. I still prefer baseball, but I'm a big softball fan. So that's going on, and they did get 2 out of 3 from Auburn, so they're right there in the race. I mean, the SEC is just getting kind of cranked up, as it is in baseball as well. But baseball, it just feels like I don't know that there's an answer with baseball. I don't know that they've got guys that are going to become great pitchers at this year, and there are maybe guys just figure it out, but I don't know that that's going to happen. We'll see. I hope it does, but the schedule they're about to face is brutal. You know, they've got Arkansas this weekend, which is really good. I think they're number 2 in the country. Then they get Vanderbilt. Now, Vanderbilt just lost 3 in a row to Tennessee, but Vanderbilt's really good. Then they get Tennessee, which is number 1 in the country right now. So that's not going to be easy for them. So we have that going on. Also, I'll talk about the Final Four a little bit. Look, you're going to get plenty of Final Four talk from other people, so you don't need too much from me. But it was interesting. The first game was terrible. The second game was really good. Second game was, to me, the highest level that college basketball does ever get to is right. I'm not saying it hasn't before, but it definitely did in that game, where I'm sitting there and I cannot take my eyes off of one play. Like, I am holding it in until there's a timeout. When there's a TV timeout, I'm running to the bathroom, even though I know there's a TV timeouts in the NCAA tournament in like 4 minutes. But it was that kind of game. The first game, I barely watched. I'd watch it, and then I'd go something else. I come back, it's still the same score. Just wasn't interesting. But certainly the second game was one for the ages. And for Duke to lose to North Carolina in Coach K's last game in the regular season and its last game in the obviously in the tournament, I got to think North Carolina fans are going, are we playing with house money right now, man? If we win the national championship, yeah, it's great. We love it. It's great. We won a few. Yeah, it's great. But you know what we did this year? We ended Krzyzewski's regular season and overall career. How's that? How's that? If you're a North Carolina fan, you got to be in a good mood. And I've been thinking about the game itself, and I've decided it's really because I don't care. I don't care. Okay, so am I going to root for the team, the program that cheated for years academically, somehow got away with it for reasons that nobody can even figure out, or the team that has 5 level 1 allegations against it right now as we sit here today and they're investigating? Maybe I just won't. It is a 9:30 game. That's bedtime for Bonzo. 9:30, I may be in bed by then. So we had all that going on. And by the way, it is Masters Week. It is also Bob Dooley Invitational Month, but it's more importantly, I don't say that very often, it's Masters Week. And it is my favorite week of the year. I've already looked at, in fact, I got a call into Jeff Cardozo to talk about how we're going to handle some things. One thing, oh, man, I love watching that par 3 contest. I miss that. They didn't have it at all last year. I think they didn't have it last year. I think that was, again, my mind's kind of fading away, but look forward to all of it, and it's going to be great. And if it's, look, we've talked about this before. If Tiger plays, and it looks like he's heading that way, playing practice rounds, he's on site, he says it's a game time decision. Most game time decisions do play, but this is different. Tiger, here's the game time decision that Tiger will be making, okay? It is not, am I healthy enough to play? He's clearly healthy enough to play. He just played 18 holes with his son and Justin Thomas in a practice round. He's healthy enough to play. Is he healthy enough to win? And if he isn't healthy enough to win, he doesn't think he can win. He doesn't think he's back enough. He ain't going to play. Because he doesn't want – that's not Tiger. There's no ceremonial golf with Tiger Woods. He's the greatest player of all time, and I will say that. I mean, I hate saying it because I was always a Jack guy. Not anymore. I know who the number one golfer of all time was. And if he wins – if he is within 5 shots of the lead on Sunday, the numbers that they will pull in will be astronomical. I will say this, the old man in me, I'm becoming where I kind of get Tiger Woods more than I used to. And I kind of understand it. It's kind of the way I've been with Saban. You know, I'm starting as an old man to appreciate the greats. And one of the greats is about to come in here right now. And he will do that. We got a lot of things to talk to him about. Of course, Coach Steve Spurrier, as always, joins us here. Brought to you by Meldon Law. They won't back down. We'll have him in here in the next segment to talk about a lot of things, including how he had a chance for a rare double-double this weekend. We'll talk about that and more when we return with Coach Steve Spurrier, the ambassador, here on Another Dooley Noted Podcast. How about a podcast? Presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios.
Alberta, I understand you were witnesses to a crash. Can you tell us about the accident? When you're in a crash, it's important to get witness statements immediately after the accident. Whether you're in a car, truck, motorcycle, scooter, or even a golf cart accident, at Meldon Law, we won't back down.
Another Duly Noted podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill and Celebration Point. You can watch and listen to us on Facebook and YouTube for every podcast that we do on Mondays and Fridays at 2 o'clock. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Overcast, any of the other 39 platforms where you can find this podcast or your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments section below or call me if you want to do some advertising at 352-317-3444.
Great food, great atmosphere, a diverse menu, everything made from scratch, plenty of space, and locally owned. These are all the characteristics of a great restaurant, and you can find each and every one of them right here in Gainesville at Ballyhoo Grill. Ballyhoo Grill prepares all of their food fresh every day, from their salad dressing to their award-winning soups. Bring your family and enjoy dinner under the Tim Trebo Tiki Hut while listening to live music. Or if you're running low on time to eat out, they also deliver through Uber Eats, Fight Squad, and Postmates. A Gainesville staple that's been open for over 30 years. Check out Ballyhoo Grill on Facebook or at ballyhoogrill.com.
Hello there, everybody. I'm Pat Dooley, of course, from Another Dooley Noted Podcast. And this is a great Adam Brewer, and he's just opened up a place here, Adam Brewer To Go. What would give you the idea to do this, to have a to-go place like this?
We really like the fast concept, being able to get the barbecue. Now we have this new online ordering. So before it was a call ahead carry out, quick service. We have like a curbside kind of a deal where everything's ready to go for you. And then we thought, wow, we have a really great dine-in concept, but how can we make this streamlined for the customer and make it easy and accessible for all parts of town?
Adam's Rib Co. To Go. Come on down and enjoy it.
Things have certainly got a little out of hand lately when it comes to just buying our everyday necessities. Just look at gas, streaming services, and heck, even chicken wings. Well, there is one necessity that shouldn't cost a ton: taking care of yourself and helping fix all the aches and pains in life, and the fine folks at Titan MRI agree. With costs a fraction of what you'd pay at a hospital, you'll not only save money, you'll be taken care of by staff with over 20 years experience. So when you need an MRI, call Titan first, and you can go where your doctors send their families. Now offering CAT scans.
All right, welcome back to another Duly Noted Podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. And, of course, as always, brought to you by Meldon Law is Coach Steve Spurrier on Mondays. I was actually texting Laura Rutledge because because she's coming on Friday. I go, you won't believe it, but I get Coach Spurrier for 20 minutes every Monday. She goes, you're gold. I mean, and I said, yeah, you can't do any better than that. But I wanted to talk to you about what happened here Friday, because I was here for it. We did radio here from it. We had Don Gaffney and Carlos Alvarez on, but that endowment for the Willie Jackson Leonard George Foundation to get a scholarship. I mean, it was a really cool event, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was neat, Pat. The Leonard George, Willie Jackson Foundation, our first two African-American black players here, and trying to raise some money for scholarships for underprivileged kids that get a chance to go to college. But it was really neat seeing a lot of the guys that, I've finished up in the 60s as a player. The great guys that played for Coach Dickey and then Charlie Pell, a lot of them were here. Wes Chandler, it was really interesting.
Man, I miss Wes. I wish I'd seen him.
Yeah, I said, Wes, if you'd have been here, you'd have been right there with Ike, Rideau, and Kwesi. Oh, he would have been sensational.
Oh, my God.
He still had a wonderful career, although they ran the wishbone when he was here.
But they put him at tailback at one point.
At one point, just get the ball to him. Yeah, but he played 11 years in the NFL, but he's an all-time great wide receiver here, but they just didn't throw the ball a whole bunch when he was here, or else he would have had those records like these other guys, Doring and Travis McGriff. I mean, we had so many outstanding receivers, back in our day. But other than that, the golf course, they had a 9-hole tournament. Coach Dickey came by, he gave me my break. My first coaching job was here with him, and we all got fired, and then Pepper Rogers gave me my second break, and then my real break came when I got to Duke University. Coach Red Wilson, and then later the AD, Tom Butters, hired me. But anyway, it's always good to see Coach Dickey.
Yeah, I'm like, if you had Quez, Riddell, Ike, and Wes Chandler, how would you have done that? How would you have would you just move them all around, put one in the slot one time, one in the slot the other time?
Oh, you would, Kwesi came in with Ike and Riddell. And we redshirted Kwesi.
Yeah.
And, of course, Travis McGriff came in with those guys.
Yeah.
Travis looked around and said, these guys are really good. But he didn't transfer. Nowadays all those guys would go into the portal. And Travis McGriff's fifth year here, he set school record for receiving yards. That's how good he was. So,
that's still the record, right?
That is still the record.
Still holds.
I didn't realize he got that many balls coming at him, but that's what happens when you wait. And by far, he was our best receiver that 97 season.
You do him a lot of deep balls.
He got deep, short. He could do it all. He could throw some every now and also.
Yep.
Remember we threw the old double pass back to the quarterback against the Bulldogs, I think in 99, to tack one on toward the end of the game there. But anyway. We had some really good players in the day. But anyway, basketball's coming to a grind, I guess, tonight.
Yeah, I know you're disappointed. Your Dukies didn't make it.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. It was a nip and tuck game in the last minute or minute and a half.
Sure, it was a great game, wasn't it?
They played a little bit better than Duke at the end. They made all their free throws. I think Duke missed some or whatever.
Miss, 10.
But, sometimes it happens that way. And one of the radio broadcast guys this morning, I'm not going to mention his name, but he said Duke would rather lost early in the tournament rather than to get beat by their arch rival, North Carolina. I said, no, they not wish they could do that.
Uh-oh.
I mean, making the Final Four, that's pretty dang good.
It's an achievement. Yeah,
when they put your resume down there, Coach K's won, 5 nationals? Yeah. But he's been in the Final Four, I think, 12 or 13 times?
12, yeah, I think it is, yeah.
So that's good when you do that.
Think about this. You almost had the Quinella, the double-decker of having your former employees win the basketball and women's basketball championships. Because South Carolina won last night, and Duke could have won. You would have had both of your 4 teams that you root for, that you like, that would have won.
Yeah, Don Staley came there, I think, in about 08 or 09, somewhere right in there. And Jerry and I would go to the games, and we'd sit underneath the basket, and we were the only ones in sort of the end zone part of Colonial Life Arena that seats 18,000. There was about 300 people there, parents, a few students or whoever. But now they pack it in. They'll have 15 to 18,000 for just about all their games now.
It's amazing, though, when I watch them play, and I'm like, God, it must be great to have all those big, great players. And the level, I think the level of in women's basketball, the difference between the top and the middle is bigger than it is in any other sport. Because I think the pool's a little bit smaller for great 6'5" women's basketball players.
Obviously her recruiting classes are right there at the top just about every year. Asia Wilson was there. She was the center in 2017 when they won it. So she was there to watch the game. And then Aaliyah Boston, of course, was Player of the Year also this year. But it's interesting. John Wooden has an effect on all these coaches now, because his deal, and I think everybody out there knows I love Coach Wooden and his philosophy how to do things, but he used to say, and I don't know if you remember, Don Staley said this last night, said, our journey is not complete yet until we win the national championship. We're going to try our best to win it, and that's the plan. And John Wooden used to say, every season, we tell our guys, we're on a journey. It's like we're all on a big bus. And we go play another team, and we all get off the bus, and the head coach is the driver. Every now and then, the assistant coaches drive. But we go one stop, the next stop, the next stop, and every time we stop, they're trying to flatten our tires and damage our bus. And we're trying to keep it running.
Right.
And then at the end of the road, last game, he said, only we will know if our journey was successful by how we did.
That's great.
And that's how they won that last game of the season, 10 out of 12 years there.
So are you excited about tonight's game, Kansas and North Carolina?
Yeah, I think it'd be a heck of a game. I sort of think North Carolina may have excelled a little too much against Duke, and Kansas is a really good, solid team.
Yeah.
They may hang on to beat them.
Yeah.
But it would be something for Hubert Davis to win his first year as a head coach there at North Carolina. He's done an amazing job. And I don't root against – somebody asked me, are you rooting against North Carolina? I said, not basketball. Those are good guys. I don't really care which side wins. Our rivalry was in football against them. And obviously, I hope the Dukies beat them in football every year, big time, but they've struggled a bit lately. We had a little bit more success against them in my day, as you know, Pat.
Yeah, absolutely. But when you were at Duke as a football coach, was North Carolina your number one? That was the number one team to beat?
Well, last game of the season, yeah. And,
or was it Clemson?
No, Clemson was way above us in football.
But you beat them. Yeah.
When I got hired at Duke, the AD had already sold the Clemson game that they were supposed to come to our place that year. He sold it back to them. We went 2 years in a row. And I asked Tom Butler, I said, what are you doing? He said, we're not going to beat Clemson. If we go down there, they'll give us an extra $110,000. And I said, well, how about letting them come up here at least once? So the third year I was there, they came up, and that was the year we upset them and went on and won all the rest of them. But we were fortunate to beat the Tar Heels all 3 years I was there, and actually fortunate to beat them when I was at South Carolina all 3 times also. So anyway, I can rest in peace when I watch North Carolina football.
And you have no problem watching basketball, obviously.
Nah, either team be fine with me, whoever wins.
Yeah, we got to figure out what's going on with the Gator baseball team. Just can't seem to get the pitching down there, but we'll see where that goes. Softball with a couple big wins this weekend. They got a huge week coming up. They got FSU Wednesday and then Alabama Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Yeah, our women's softball team is doing well. And men's baseball, they've done pretty well overall. They play so many games. You know, you try to win your conference championship, and then you really make the playoffs, and then you got to really play. So they got to seal everything in front of us. Here's what I thought was neat over the weekend. Our lady gymnastic team won the region, so now we're going to the nationals. And I think we've won just about everything thus far. Won the regular season, won the tournament, SEC, and now we're winning the sectional and the region. And what was neat is that our Lady Gator softball team was playing at Auburn also. They came over and rooted and pulled for the gymnastic ladies during that event.
And vice versa. The gymnasts went to the softball game Friday night.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Was that before the game?
No, they went. They because they were Thursday, Saturday. So Friday they went and watched softball game. Yeah.
Okay, well, wonderful. It's always neat to see teams pulling for each other here at Florida.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Speaking of which, we're about to come up on a spring game, and I don't know, it's still a couple next week, but people are going to be excited about it to a level. But, I mean, I know there was one big spring game in your life, but what about the other ones? What was it? What were you looking for out of a spring game usually?
Well, the first one was important because we started that spring practice with about 5 or 6 quarterbacks. I know Shane was number 5. I didn't know how to line him up to start with, and somebody said, well, he's never played. He's just another guy hanging around, Coach. And Donald Douglas and Kyle Morris and Brian Fox and one other guy. Lex Smith was a quarterback, in those days. So, but finally, a couple of guys sprained an ankle, and Shane started getting more reps, and he had a really good spring game over in Jacksonville because we ripped out the AstroTurf and put natural grass in. So he was 8
That's
of
why. Oh, I was trying to remember why they played the spring game in Jacksonville because of you pulled out the turf or the AstroTurf. Yeah, Doug's rug.
I tell you, the players, when I asked them to pull it out and put grass in, and they did it. Arnsberger and our university, it probably cost, I don't know, $400,000 or $500,000 to rip it all out.
Sure.
The players thought I was the greatest guy in the world, Pat. They hated that AstroTurf. They said, we got a coach that actually is looking out for us, fellas. So they played that 90 team, still one of my favorites of all time.
Well, we talked last week about changing the culture, and that's part of changing the culture, yeah.
Yeah, doing that. And
making them realize I care about you.
And we got rid of all the excuses about can't beat Georgia and Jacksonville.
Right. Can't play Auburn and Georgia back-to-back.
No, they're just too good to play back-to-back. We beat them. I think it was 86-14 that year, those two teams. But it was a loaded team, and after they got going, they knew we were good enough to win it, and so that's what that team did, won the SEC.
I got to ask you because it's Masters Week, and it's my favorite place in the world. I played there once. You probably played there more than once. I'm going to go on record and say that.
Yeah.
How many times you played there?
Oh, I played several. When I was in South Carolina, we'd go once a year, and because Hootie Johnson was the chairman back there in 05-06. But actually, Lou Holtz had invited me in one time. When I was at Georgia Tech, Pepper Rogers got one of the members there, a Georgia Tech guy, and he invited us over. So we played there as my first time. And all the assistant coaches, Pepper said, how many want to play? Gosh, about everybody raised their hand. We had a guy over there playing in tennis shoes. I ain't kidding. So...
That's frowned upon.
Yeah, he said, I played Augusta once in my life. So, it's wonderful to go and visit. And so we'd play in the afternoon and once in the morning and leave. So it was always fun to do that.
That was the rumor that South Carolina was enticing you with an Augusta membership. No. You remember that?
That never came up. That's just that's just hearsay of stuff. No.
Yeah. It was always so weird. But so what's your best score there?
I had a 78. I think that year that I was at Georgia Tech. That was 1979. Yeah. My best when I was at South Carolina was an 81. And it was easy to remember because I made 9 pars and 9 bogeys. And that's 81. It's not a terrible number if you stay away from the doubles and triples.
Yeah, I did not. I shot 85, so I did not stay away from the doubles and dribbles. The one time I did get to play it, but it is it's what is everybody in the sports world is going to be talking about all week. Will Tiger play? It seems I think Tiger's got to know he's got a chance to win before he'll play. Not just that I can play, but that I can win.
Well, you watched him in that father-son thing back in, what was that, February? They had that down there. And, oh, man, he was hitting the ball like always, seemed like. So I'm going to predict he plays. I don't think he's going up there for a week and do the practice rounds and all that. And one of the reporters said he was walking without a gimp, so he seems to be close to 100%.
Now, I wonder if maybe, like, look, this guy almost died in a wreck. He was close to death. But maybe because he was such a great athlete, he's able to heal faster, But because he's healing faster than anybody thought he would. I thought he was done with golf, and he thought he might even be done with walking,
Yeah. Well, that accident was About a year and a half was when they were at Riviera. So a year and 2-3 months, something like that. But, he's had a bunch of surgeries, back surgeries, knee, and then they put his leg back together. He even admitted at one time, the guy said, we may lose it. You may be walking around with an artificial leg or something, but he was able to save it.
Can you imagine if he's even within 5 shots of the lead on Sunday, what the TV audience will be just to watch him play?
Yeah, golf TV has done well, and the superstar guys where are they? McIlroy hadn't won. Who are the other big superstars?
The biggest star right now is Scotty
DeChambeau
Scheffler.
hadn't do nothing. Yeah, the young guys. He and there's a top 10 are guys that have just been playing the last couple of years. What was neat, the guy that won this past week, 30-year-old guy, Jay Spahn.
I never heard of him.
Never heard of him.
Yeah.
He'd been playing on the European tour or South America.
Now he's into
Asian,
the Masters.
And now he won a tournament. Guys that are, they have that good week, and they can win. There's so many good players out there.
I think that's the thing that a lot of people don't realize, Steve, and you and I remember you used to get all these questions about when Steve Spurrier, is he going to join the seniors tour? I was like, you don't realize the level of golf these guys are playing versus what you and I are banging it out at. A guy like Nick Gillum, could never really touch the tour. He's a great player. He won the NCAA championship. Yeah. It's so hard to be really good.
Yeah, Billy Horschel, I guess, is our top Gator out there, and he could contend at Augusta because he's a really good putter. Yeah.
We got a Facebook comment. I seem to remember Coach Spurrier demanding that the turf goes, and that was, I remember it was on New Year's Eve, 1989, was your press conference, and I was there, and you said there were 3 things, I think. You wanted to get rid of the turf. You wanted to play Miami. What was the third one? There might have been a third one.
Was there a third one?
Maybe there wasn't a third one. I seem to remember there was a third one, like you wanted, maybe you said, hey, I don't want no excuses, because I know that's what happened.
Yeah, I tell you what, I really believe ripping out that AstroTurf may have given our guys 14 points a game at home.
Really?
Because they were so in love with natural grass after getting their arms burned up and those day games, it would be well over 100 degrees.
The Wilbur Marshall game in '82. Yeah. I mean, Wilbur Marshall, they Charlie Pell took a victory lap. He said, I'm not going back out there. It's too hot.
2 weeks ago, I was in Arizona. My son Scotty's out there, and they had their spring game.
Yeah.
And Jed Fish asked me to speak at their coaches clinic, which I did. And they had a practice Saturday at noon, and they had a little bit of a heat wave come through. It was like 92, 93 that day. And that field, the guys were just, what are we doing out here? So I think he cut practice short for a while, but I told Scotty and Jed, I said, you guys need to get grass out here, man. If you're going to play day games, that's just too hot, that stuff. But
I think it was an economical thing for a long time.
Oh, yeah,
there.
It costs to put that grass in to keep it up. But it's well worth it, I believe.
All right. Well, Coach, it's always great talking to you on Mondays. We love it. And we'll take a break. We'll come back. We got a lot of things to get to, including Yes, Nowhere, Maybe, 3 things, all the great things we do every Monday and Friday here. And we always love Coach Spurrier being here on Monday, sponsored by Meldon Law. This is Another Dooley Noted Podcast presented by Titan MRI.
Things have certainly got a little out of hand lately when it comes to just buying our everyday necessities. Just look at gas, streaming services, and heck, even chicken wings. Well, there is one necessity that shouldn't cost a ton: taking care of yourself and helping fix all the aches and pains in life. And the fine folks at Titan MRI agree. With costs a fraction of what you'd pay at a hospital, you'll not only save money, you'll be taken care of by staff with over 20 years experience. So when you need an MRI, call Titan first, and you can go where your doctors send their families. Now offering CAT scans.
Hello there, everybody. I'm Pat Dooley, of course, from Another Dooley Noted Podcast. And this is a great Adam Brewer, and he's just opened up a place here, Adam Brewer To Go. What gave you the idea to do this, to have a to-go place like this?
We really like the fast concept, being able to get the barbecue. Now we have this new online ordering. So before it was a call ahead carry out, quick service. We have like a curbside kind of a deal where everything's ready to go for you. And then we thought, wow, we have a really great dine-in concept, but how can we make this streamlined for the customer and make it easy and accessible for all parts of town?
Adam's Rib Co. to go. Come on down and enjoy it. Another Duly Noted podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill and Celebration Point. You can watch and listen to us on Facebook and YouTube for every podcast that we do on Mondays and Fridays at 2 o'clock. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Overcast, any of the other 39 platforms where you can find this podcast or your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments section below or call me if you want to do some advertising at 352-317-3444.
Oh my gosh, I can't even believe this. Look what you have done to my truck.
Excuse me, it's your fault, it's not my fault.
Yes, it is your
No,
fault.
it's not,
I am calling Jeffrey Meldon from Meldon Law.
So I'm gonna call Jeffrey, my husband.
Meldon Law, this is Jeffrey speaking.
This crazy lady here, this crazy lady here might...
New client? Yes, but this one might be a little tricky.
Great food, great atmosphere, a diverse menu, everything made from scratch, plenty of space, and locally owned. These are all the characteristics of a great restaurant, and you can find each and every one of them right here in Gainesville at Ballyhoo Grill. Ballyhoo Grill prepares all of their food fresh every day, from their salad dressing to their award-winning soups. Bring your family and enjoy dinner under the Tim Trebo Tiki Hut while listening to live music. Or if you're running low on time to eat out, they also deliver through Uber Eats, Bite Squad, and Postmates. A Gainesville staple that's been open for over 30 years. Check out Ballyhoo Grill on Facebook or at ballyhoogrill.com.
Okay, welcome back to another Duly Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios, and we appreciate Meldon Law also for sponsoring, scooting forward here, there we go, sponsoring the segments with Coach Spurrier every Monday. People are envious of me, man, to have Coach Spurrier on here as much as I do. All right, is that better? Okay. And also for Meldon Law for being a sponsor of our golf tournament. We really appreciate them as well for that, and everybody that is sponsoring either our golf tournament or anything else, especially on this podcast. All right, it is time for us to get to our fun stuff. That's what we like to call it. Maybe we could call this like a certain, like the fun zone is boring. Yeah, fun or stupid pet tricks. There we go. We can do that. All right, so we're going to start out with three things, because three things, you weren't ready for three things. Oh, I gave you a little change up there. So, but as we know, three things are presented by Hand Law, Florida law firm, which helps clients with government. You can learn more about Hand Law by visiting its website at www.hand.law. The firm is available for consultation in Jacksonville, and we always love what they're doing. We have double sponsors. They also sponsor Robbie Andrews' appearances. Unfortunately, today, Yes, No, Where, Maybe is going to be done by me because I think my phone must be broken because nobody's calling me back. So I'm just assuming there's something wrong with it. I want to hold it up and see if water comes out of it or something. Nobody's calling me. All right. So anyway, three things presented by Hand Law. Number one, interesting that Thad Matta ends up being the head coach of Butler. I had forgotten about Thad Matta. Look, we all knew Thad Matta very well during that run that Florida had through Thad Matta. Beat them in a regular season, beat them in the national championship. The second national championship, great coach, and then all of a sudden things went south and got fired. And 5 years he's been away, but he played at Butler. He coached for a year at Butler, and Butler just fired Lavelle Jordan, so he's going there. And I'm like, that's probably a pretty good hire, I think. I mean, he's a really good coach, but he hadn't coached in 5 years. It's odd. That's all I'll say. Number two on three things presented by Hand Law. I remember one of our yes, no, ways, or maybes was that I would, with Jeffrey, actually it was with Jeffrey Melvin, I said, my I think the answer was yes. And the answer was correct. Here's where I rank, okay? Just so you know. And I don't know how many people filled out these brackets, but here's where my bracket ranks. And I'm going to go, I'm not that far away from being in contention. I rank 1,749,912. And I don't have either one of these teams in the final, so I'm not going to go up. I can only go down. I don't even know why I fill these things out. Sometimes I fill them out just, maybe next year I will go and say, every team I think's going to win, I'll pick the other team. But 1 million, that's ridiculous. That's so stupid. Now, I know there's a lot of people filling out multiple brackets. I don't believe in that. I believe you fill out one bracket, and that's your bracket. Here's my bracket. I got one bracket where I have, no, I don't want to hear it. But my bracket sucks. I should have burned it a long time ago. And finally, on three things presented by Hand Law, we are not doing a great job of telling you all the time about things that are happening in tennis and golf and at Florida. Men's tennis, number one in the country. It's almost like now they're getting to where like softball was, where you're just like, they won. Big deal. They won. Softball, everybody's kind of caught up, and now you have incredibly intense games, and I enjoy it more. Before, it was a lot of fun too, though, when they were winning at everything. They were winning at baseball. They were winning at softball. But it's just not the way it works anymore. I think we need to give a lot of credit to the men's golf team, which is leading the tournament they're playing in right now. Women's golf has had a great run. They've got a chance to do something special in the postseason. Men's tennis, defending national champs, is ranked number one. Women's tennis, very good as well. We kind of blow those off because we get into this time of year and it's football and it's basketball, baseball, and spring football. And we'll talk a lot more spring football next week, actually Friday.
What rank were you?
What?
What was your rank again?
My rank was 1,749,912. 1 million, yeah.
This is my rank.
Okay. 14. You're 14. Well, I don't feel so bad. 14,615,808. That's Evan, the producer. I feel a lot better about my only being $1.7 million or $7 million down. So clearly, a lot of people are even dumber than I am. Although I did have Kentucky going to winning the national championship, and they got beat in the first round. So I did that right there was when I just went, I'm done. Don't care. But I'm still happy. Kentucky got beat. I'm happy. All right. So that is our three things presented by the great Chris Hand at Hand Law. We appreciate him. The Adams Ribco to go. Gator the weekend. I want to tell a little quick story about Adam. I was in there last night, and I was getting something for my wife and I, and Adam was in there. It wasn't last night. It was Saturday night. I apologize. Saturday night. And Adam was in there up to his elbows and trying to fix something and clean up something on a Saturday night. That's how hard he works. That's the kind of guy he is. Incredible dude, Adam Brewer. But the Adams Ribco Gator of the weekend, we do this Gator of the week, and we do Gator of the weekend. And we did get, you know what we did get? Karen wanted a hot dog, and they have the best hot dogs. And they're like really big, and they're, covered and everything. And then I just got the turkey platter, which was just, I told her, I said, it was the greatest thing I ever had. It was great. We were both very happy. We're happy, satisfied customers. But you know who else is happy? The Adams Ribco to go Gators of the weekend. It's more than one person. In fact, in golf, we're going to go with a golf person. TJ Vogel won on the Korn Ferry Tour, which is what used to be the Nationwide, and there was also the Hogan Tour, whatever. Anyway, it's the second tour, and it's still a big win. Former Gator golfer wins, and congratulations to him. But I'm giving it to him, and I'm giving it to the entire Florida gymnastics team. All the effort. I mean, I know that we tend to focus on Trinity Thomas because she's so freaking good. She's different level good. But also Nia Reed had a 10 in the meet Saturday. They had other people were getting 9.95s. I mean, this is a really good team. I know it feels like they may have peaked too early, but they keep peaking. Every time I go, hey, you guys are peaking too early. Let me show you what we got for this meet, and we'll do this, and we'll get even a higher score. By the time it's over, they may end up with a, what would be perfect? 200, right? 200.00 before it's over. That's how good they are. Now, that would never happen because nobody would ever allow it. They would always go, hey, we ain't taking a deduction here. But so I'm giving it to TJ Vogel and to the gymnastics team for just a great effort. There's a lot of other places I could have gone, obviously, with some of the things that happened this weekend. All right, it is time now for the Hesser and Kipke Monday spreads. And these will be the last ones we do because obviously there's not a lot of spreads. My nose is itching me until we get to we get back to college football. So we're going to do something different with Hesser and Kipke and have a baseball segment, a Major League Baseball segment. So that'll be a lot of fun. But the Monday spreads are brought to you by Hesser and Kipke, a law firm based in Hale Plantation, specializing in employment, workers' comp, and family law. Visit their website at www.hklawfl.com or call Ken and Jennifer at 352-339-9920. So give them a call. So here are the spreads, and there's only one game left. Kansas is a 4.5-point favorite over North Carolina. Now, that makes sense. Kansas is a 1, North Carolina is an 8. They're trying to elicit something that will bring in even more bets, and it may. The over-under, by the way, is 151.5. Now, a lot of that is because I'll be honest with you, watching the best teams, not the best teams only play defense sometimes. They don't play it all the time. They play it when they feel like it. And that was, I think, Duke's problem in the end. They only played defense sometimes. And there were times when they played great defense. But not all the time. They didn't play great defense all the time. And that's why the offenses were so good. North Carolina's offense was ridiculous. But, so those are the spreads there. And then also for Major League Baseball, my Braves are 12-1 favorites to repeat. I wouldn't bet on that. I went through a whole big deal with the Braves with the not signing Freddie Freeman, where I thought maybe it was time for me to leave him. Look, the tomahawk chop I hate, you know that, and then not signing Freeman, that kind of made me go, maybe not, maybe I'm done, but they made a lot of good moves, and I went, okay, I'm going to stay with them. Hey, what are you going to do? I'm with them. But they're 12-1. The Phillies, by the way, and I know Ken's favorite team is the Phillies. I think Jennifer too. 30-1 favorite. So, Ken, you know how to get to Vegas. Go to Vegas. Put down 100 on the Phillies. Could be could be a huge win for you. I don't think it's going to happen. How about this? Remember when the Nationals won the World Series? What was that, like 3 years ago? They're 150-1. To win it again. That's not good. The Dodgers are the favorites at 5-1 because they've got Freddie Freeman. This is what I told them. Don't let him go. They also got a lot of great players. They're the best team in baseball, but it's baseball. You never know what's going to happen. Day to day, week to week, out to out. Baseball is different. The Braves last year were given up and done for, and I was one of the people that gave up on them. And they came back and they made great moves, and I'm going to trust this Antonopoulos guy. I like him. The Astros and Blue Jays, by the way. Can you name one player on the Blue Jays? Okay. Can you name one player in the Braves?
I can't name one player.
Can you name one player? Well, Freddie Freeman you should be able to name.
Of course.
I don't know. I think Guerrero is with the Anyway, those are the Co's second favorites. The Astros and the Blue Jays. The cheating Astros and the Blue Jays are 10-1 favorites. So those are the Monday spreads, which we always give you on Monday, which is kind of a weird deal that we give you Monday spreads on Monday. But we like to do that. All right, it is time for the Leonardo's and Millhopper Quick Picks. We had 3 people qualify last week, picking the Final Four correctly. Ryan, Scott Hart, and Nathaniel Penland, I think is his name. Ryan Emerson was the other name. So all 3 of you qualify. We've got several qualifiers going. We'll make that pick right before we break for the end of the month for the golf tournament, which we will. Actually, we got an exciting thing about the Friday of the golf tournament, which is the 29th of April. We are going to be out there doing a kind of a live show from the golf tournament. It won't be as long. It'll be a lot of our things. We obviously have a lot of stuff to do that night. But Evan and I will be out there, and my brother Tim will be out there. So that'll be fun. We'll have fun with that. Leonardo's and Millhopper Quick Picks for this week. Now, I know a lot of you say, hey, I didn't get to listen to the podcast in time, so I couldn't get my pick in. So I'm going to give you 2 options. But you can only take one, okay? You can only have one option here. Pick the game tonight, North Carolina versus Kansas. You can pick that game and get it into me, but if it doesn't come into me by 9:30 when the freaking game starts, which is why I won't be watching it, I'll probably watch the first half and I go, You can pick that game, or you can pick the Florida FSU softball game Wednesday. If you go, oh, man, I didn't get a chance to pick it. I didn't listen to it till Tuesday. Hey, you got another opportunity to qualify by picking the winner of Florida FSU. FSU's really good this year. Florida's very good as well. There they are for you, okay? So that is the Leonardo's at Millhopper Quick Picks and an opportunity to win dinner at Leonardo's plus some other cool things. I will tell you, this is a good time to be winning that contest. I got a lot of stuff. I got a lot of stuff in my house right now, so you may get something really special. Finally, we usually do yes, no, where, maybe with somebody, but I just kept running into dead ends today, so I'm going to do it with myself. Yes, no, where, maybe. Number 1, Florida hosts a regional. Well, I will go with maybe, and I'm not optimistic. I think they may end up, because what you got to realize is what Florida's getting ready to face. They're getting ready to face 3 great teams: Arkansas, Vanderbilt, and Tennessee. They could easily go like 2-7 in those games. They could also go 7-2. Let's see what they got. Let's decide. And I think FSU is sprinkled in there somewhere. But let's decide what you're going to be during this 9-game, 10-game, 11-game, whatever it is, stretch. Let's decide what you're going to be. But I would say maybe at the very most, I are going to host a first round. I can't see this being a super regional hosting team. Number 2, Tennessee goes unbeaten in the SEC. They're unbeaten right now, 9-0. Just swept Vanderbilt. I will go no way. You're not going 30-0 in this league. This league's too hard. So no, I don't see that's going to happen. And finally, number 3, Tiger makes the cut at the Masters. I will go yes. I think Tiger can, even if he's not 100% healthy, and we all know he's not. I mean, he's never going to be 100% healthy in his life now. He's had so many surgeries, so many things that have gone wrong, but it seems like he's healthy enough, and he's so good, and he knows that course so well. What was the stat I gave earlier? 21% of his tournaments he's played at Augusta, he's won. He'll make the cut. He'll find a way to make the cut. He wants to play on the weekend. If he plays, if he puts the tee in the ground on the first hole on Thursday, he'll make the cut. That is a yes. All right, that is yes, no, where, maybe. And, of course, it is brought to you by the great people at Big Mills Cheesesteaks. We love them out there. Street dining done right. We appreciate Keith Miller out over there at Big Mills Cheesesteaks, and we appreciate everything he does. And if you go in there, you can get – all you got to do is go in there and say, I listen to Another Dooley Noted Podcast. I would like a sausage dog with the free fries that you give to the Dooley Noted people. Booyah. All right, that's going to do it for the show today. Appreciate everybody for listening. Appreciate Coach Spurrier for being here. Don't forget Friday, Laura Rutledge will be joining us. That'll be a lot of fun. I can't wait to talk to her. And thanks to Evan for all the great work he does. We will be back on Friday with the show, right? Okay. We will be back Friday with the show, and it should be a lot of fun. Until then, I'm Pat Dooley saying I'm deep, I'm way back, and I am out of here.